exercise your meaning. It's time to exercise your freedom. Liberty Health Share.
What if you could magically split your phone in half and have one for personal calls and one for business calls? And what if the business side of your phone came with a receptionist? 2 phone lines, 1 phone, magic. Add an extra phone line to your mobile just for business. Try eVoice free for 60 days. Go to evoice.com and enter promo code MAGIC.
If you or a loved one develop non-Hodgkin lymphoma after being exposed to Roundup regularly for at least 2 years, you may qualify for a cash award. The main chemical in Roundup may be linked to an increased risk of cancer. People working in agriculture or landscaping, city and county workers, even home gardeners, and people who live near areas where Roundup is used may be at risk. If you were regularly exposed to Roundup and develop non-Hodgkin lymphoma, call 800-797-5715. That's 800-797-5715.
Introducing the DVR Plus from Channel Master, a truly delivers everything you want from subscription-free TV. With dual HD tuner technology and virtually unlimited recording capacity, the DVR Plus lets you enjoy the big game while recording your favorite broadcast show. And the DVR Plus lets you watch the most popular TV networks with the highest quality crystal clear HD picture for free. Just connect an HD antenna and you're ready to go. Connect the DVR Plus to high-speed internet and get even more. Enjoy instant access to shows and movies not available on broadcast television. With the DVR Plus, watching subscription-free TV is easy. You can access your video-on-demand favorites and all your local broadcast channels in one intuitive guide. That's an industry first. Slim and stylish, the DVR Plus delivers everything you love about TV without the subscription. Get your DVR Plus at channelmaster.com or call us toll-free.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-208-5906. That's 1-800-208-5906.
You struggle. You're so far away. Just bending over to put on your socks is brutally painful every day. Well, not anymore. Introducing Sock Slider, the pain-free, no-bend-over way to comfortably put on your socks every day. Just place your sock on the cradle, lower the cradle to the floor, and slide your foot in. It's that easy. Sock Slider puts the socks on for you, so bending over is something you never have to do. The secret is the unique cradle design that expands the sock opening and places it in the perfect position, so all you have to do is slide your foot in. Then when you want to take them off, the Sock Slider makes that easy too. All your favorite socks can be put on without frustration. Call or visit our website today and we'll give you the special price of the day. You can get the complete Sock Slider system for just $19.99. And so you can give one to your parents, grandparents, or friend in need, you can get a second one free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Call or visit our website at sockslider.com. This offer is not available in stores, so visit our website now to get yours.
Long-distance information, give me Memphis, Tennessee. Try to find the party, trying to get in touch with me.
And welcome back, folks. It is the Ray program, 844-RAY Show. Emails coming up in just a bit. If you want to email me, now is a good time to do it. RayLucia.com, RayLucia.com. Click on the Ask Ray button. If I get it by the time our next segment rolls around, I'll get right to it on the air live right here and right now. Robert Powell wrote the other day, retirement planning is complicated, confusing, and conflicting. He went on to say, over the years, we had a variety of new laws that went into effect that made saving for and living in retirement more complicated. And he listed some of them out. You wonder why my head is about ready to explode sometimes. Let's start with the Jobs and Growth Tax Reconciliation Act of '03. Tax Relief, Unemployment Insurance Reauthorization, and Job Creation Act of 2010. The Pension Protection Act of '06. The Budget Control Act of 2011. The Middle Class Tax Relief Act and Job Creation Act of 2012. The Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act and Health Care Act, Education Reconciliation Act of 2010. The American Taxpayer Relief Act. The list goes on and on and on. Not to mention the MIRAs and IRAs and all the other stuff that you need to know about. So, as I said before the break, if you want to have a successful and happy and potentially healthier retirement, then you got to go into retirement with a strategy. You have to. What is your strategy? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to choose the right date to retire. Some people say, well, I'm going to retire at 65 because that's when Medicare kicks in, or 66 or 67 because that's when I can max out my Social Security. You know, who cares about whether you can max out your Social Security? It's whether or not you should take it at 62 versus 70. You get 75% more plus a COLA. Where's the strategy behind that? That's one of the things you want to certainly manage. And of course, you want to factor in taxes. If all of your money is sitting in pre-tax accounts, and you're just going to take Social Security and money out of your retirement accounts, one of the things we always talk about is, well, Social Security is potentially taxable, depending on how much money you're going to be pulling out of those retirement accounts. And so doing Roth conversions well in advance of taking the Social Security, maybe we can blend the tax bracket down and blend taxes out of your Social Security. This is where strategy plays a key role. Next, don't invest all your money in the stock market. Remember sequence risk. I don't know how to say this more tactfully, but you'll be eating dog food if you pick the retirement date and just before you take your first check, your 100% stock market portfolio drops by 50%. You'll be eating dog food long before you ever wanted to. Sequence of returns risk it's insidious, it's dangerous, it's terrible, and it's easily avoided with strategy. Next, don't waffle on this annuity decision. Listen, you're either a candidate or you're not. Not everyone is. If you're rich, you've got plenty of money, then you may not need an annuity. Although I did discuss with someone off the air the other day the fact that this particular individual, because they're conservative and wanted to leave a nice legacy for their kids, I said, well, why don't you just take care of all of your basic expenses, all of the expenses that you're worrying about. I think he said he needed $6,500 or $7,000, something like that, in retirement. And I did a future value calculation, and I looked at what he was doing with Social Security. Again, this wasn't a plan that I do. I was just talking to him off the air. But I always carry my cash. And it came out that if he took, I think it was $250,000 or $300,000 out of his $1.2 million portfolio today, that he would have enough annuitized income to where he could take the rest of his money and basically leave it for the kids. And I'm making that up from memory, but it's something like that. Faint-hearted investor, conservative investor, knowing that he's going to have enough money to cover 100% of his needs in retirement, plus inflation. I don't know. Don't waffle on that decision. Make sure you get a good advisor, not one like the dudes that come on television and tell you all annuities are bad. Oliver Wendell Holmes once said, "I never heard a generalization worth a damn," including this one. Whenever you hear all this or never that, there's always more to that story. Next, be realistic about your rate of return. Even Peter Lynch made a mistake on this one. He wrote that book, what was it, Beating the Street or something like that, many years ago. And he said, well, you know what? You can take a 7% distribution. Wow. We get upset when we talk more than 4% today. Take 7% out because stocks do 10. You can take out 7, leave 3 in the bank for future inflation, and you'll be fine. He corrected himself after he went and did the calculations because A, he didn't calculate the sequence risk, and B, he didn't calculate the fact that you could go through a lost decade. Remember, if you go through the lost decade of the first decade of the 2000s, the stock market earned a minus 3 or 4 or 5%. It didn't make any money at all during that 10-year period. So you've got to be realistic in what your expected returns are. And certainly, as Peter Lynch eventually learned, and this is a smart guy, by the way, I have tremendous respect for Mr. Lynch, but as he learned, you also wouldn't put 100% of your money in the stock market, which violated one of the prior rules. So, and the list goes on and on. Diversify. It's okay to have cash in a portfolio, perhaps to buy you some time so that you can postpone taking Social Security. Because as I've said a million times, that's the best annuity you can buy. And diversify amongst various asset classes. Yes, dividend stocks, but also small cap and value stocks and growth stocks and even international stocks. And then adding real estate and other alternative strategies, private debt, public debt, tons of different ways to do that. And a good advisor can help you with that. And then have, along with that diversified approach, a withdrawal strategy in mind. Are you going to do systematic withdrawals and rebalancing? It's a very popular method. It's not the one I prefer. I prefer segmenting your portfolio and spending from the safer accounts first. I've got a lot of academic research to support that. But even if you don't spend from the safe accounts first, if you used a hybrid strategy, which is if the market's going up and you want to scrape a little bit of money off of the up market for income, you can do that, and that buys you an extra year. I'm fine with that too. But it's still segmenting your portfolio. And finally, and this is a tough one for most of us because we never think it's going to happen to us, but if you don't solve the healthcare dilemma in retirement, you're making a big, huge mistake. Long-term healthcare, every finance professor on the planet is telling you to get some, but your brain is telling you you don't need it. I'm telling you, odds are you will, and you will get your money back in a couple of different ways, not the least of which is peace of mind. But since today there are so many ways that you can take your emergency fund money and just take it from your left pocket and put it in your right pocket, and it'll provide for long-term health care and emergencies all the same, you can get the job done. And that's how you get to a healthy and happy retirement. Don't shun the advisors in this mix. They will help you. They will earn their freight. Not from being a brilliant money manager. Most financial planners are not the money managers themselves. I would caution you if your financial planner is also picking the stocks for you, because I don't think you can do both effectively. But they can far offset, as we've discussed in other academic research, a 1% charge or whatever their charge is, because the average best practices advisor brings in an extra 3 or 4% each year. All right, we'll tackle your emails next, right here on The Ray Lucia Show.
If you're a small business owner, now there's a fast and secure way to qualify for a low-cost SBA loan right online. We're SmartBiz Loans, rated best place to apply online for an SBA loan. We'll help you pre-qualify for up to $350,000 of working capital, or even up to $5 million to buy your building.
We have a 10-year loan. Our repayment is only $1,600 a month.
Now with the SBA loan, we're only paying 6%, and I can afford that.
Apply now at smartbizloans.com. SBA loans made easy.
Why uranium? Uranium is one of the cleanest energy sources, but most importantly, it's a baseload clean energy source. It's there 24 hours a day. It produces no carbon dioxide at all. It's the simplest and best way to guarantee solid baseload energy that's clean. GoviEx is 3 projects, 3 African countries, over 208 million pounds of uranium in the ground, making us one of the largest resource holders. 2 of those projects are already permitted, which is an extremely difficult thing to achieve in our industry. And we're very focused on the development of our projects into the uranium cycle so that we go into cash flow rather than just remaining a developer. We're seeing supply gradually decrease. You need a higher price to incentivize that production to come on. More importantly, you're starting to see the unwind of the long-term contracts that are in place. As they unwind, they're going to want higher prices to be able to replace their resources going forward. But more importantly now, we're starting to see that the shelf come off of supply declining going forward. We've done a lot of work on that side of the market. On the supply side, it's very clear that we're going to need well over $60 uranium to be for the supply side to meet what the demand side is predicting. That's important to GoviEx because we can get both of our projects away between $50 and $60. More importantly, both of them are already permitted.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain or knee pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace or knee brace covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you. 800-879-9796. Right now to see if you qualify. These professional-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, rheumatoid and osteoarthritis, spinal disorders, stenosis, and other painful back problems. Our medical-grade durable knee braces are designed for those with osteoarthritis and general knee pain and weakness. Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork. And best of all, your brace is shipped directly to your home for free. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out. Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 800-879-9796. That's 800-879-9796.
Sick of foil that sticks to your food? Or baking sheets that burn the bottoms? Well, not anymore.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here, back with my Gotham Steel Crisper Tray, the new non-stick baking rack that fries food right in the oven. The secret to the elevated cooking rack that allows air to circulate around all the sides of the food. And there's no sticking with our super slick tie ceramic surface. The Crisper Tray is great for bacon. All the grease drips right through. They're so crispy. So forget soggy reheated foods. Now you can make perfectly crisp pizza logs without all the mess. Or mozzarella sticks that are firm on the outside and ooey gooey in the center. Even gourmet burgers and juicy steaks. Look here, wrap some dogs in pastry and bake for the best pigs in a blanket. Or warm and crispy spring rolls. Listen to that crunch. Now you can easily fry up southern fried chicken without even flipping it. Or make air-fried fish and chips with no oil or grease. That means less calories and less fat too. Even make your very own homemade potato chips. Plus the Crisper Tray makes the best bruschetta ever. Melted on top and perfectly browned on the bottom. It's great on the grill up to 500 degrees. Even flames can't hurt it. And for you chocolate lovers, just simply stuff your favorite candy bar in a wonton wrapper and bake. A crisp outside and an oozing center. Yum! So stop the sticking and say bye-bye to burnt food.
Get your Gotham Steel Crisper Tray with non-stick Tysorama surface today for just $19.99 plus shipping. And we guarantee crispy food with no sticking or your money back. But we're not finished yet. Order now and you can get a second crisper tray with non-stick Dicerama surface, just pay separate fee. You'll get it all a huge $60 value for just $19.99. Call now.
To order, call 1-800-651-5962. Again, that's 1-800-651-5962, or order online at gothamcrisper.com, 1-800-651-5962.
That's Curtis on the drums right there. He is a fine drummer and a fine guitar player and a keyboardist and a vocalist. He's just a tremendous musician. And he's responsible for all of our music. And I thank him. Thank you, Curtis. Nice job today, as usual. You give yourself an applause? Is that what you're doing? Okay, that's fair. Welcome back, folks, to the Ray Lucia Show. It's time for emails. Hit it there, Curtis. See if we can get this one right. Hit it. Okay, the first email in from Jordan. Oh, it's a dandy. What will happen to my taxes when I sell a property with a $450,000 capital gain? I am 72 and retired. Well, Jordan, what kind of property is it? Is it a principal residence where you and your wife or spouse have lived there for at least 2 out of the last 5 years? If so, you get a $500,000 exemption, and you only have to deal with, you wouldn't have to deal with any problem as far as capital gains. Now, is it a rental property where it's $450,000 of capital gain and there's recaptured depreciation, which might add another $100,000 and some odd of the gain? I don't know. If it is truly a $450,000 capital gain, you're in for a lot of fun, because doing your taxes is going to be just a hysterical riot. I'm teasing. It's going to suck, and here's why. First off, you're going to catapult yourself probably into the 39.6% federal income tax rate. And depending on where you live, you could pay another 5 or 10% in state taxes if your state has a tax. Oh, but there's more. On the capital gains rate, you'll be at the highest rate, 20%. But there's still more. On anything over $250,000 if you're married, $200,000 if you're single, you'll pay an additional 3.8%. Add to that the state income tax if your state has a tax. It even gets worse from here, because you're 72. That means you're on Medicare. Now your Medicare premium could go from like $120 a month to $450 a month for both you and your spouse. I mean, you could be paying $800-900 a month for Medicare instead of $250. It's for 1 year, by the way. It's going to be a very taxing experience. What can you do about it? Well, there are a couple of things. One is you can do an exchange, a 1031 tax deferred exchange, or and then you can borrow money to live on, and then after death there's a step up in tax basis and the capital gain goes away. Or you can sell on an installment sale, a little riskier, but if you know the people or they have a lot of credibility, et cetera, you could keep your gain manageable. By, if you sold it over 10 years, you'd only have to realize like $45,000 of the gain each year, which might keep you in a 15% ordinary income bracket, maybe even some of that gain taxed at a 0% rate. So this is the time you call a really good CPA and financial advisor. There are these newer tenant in common type deals where you can do exchanges. I get emails on them all the time. All cash deals, very low risk deals, but please don't take my word for it. TICs have been horrible in the past. I do think they're making a bit of a comeback right now. All right, Sandra is next. I'm thinking of moving to a foreign country to retire. I know it's cheaper to live and quality of life is good, especially in places like Costa Rica and Panama. What do you think? Well, interestingly, I've been next door to Nicaragua, and it was beautiful, and it was inexpensive, and I thought the food was great. But it's still a third world country here, Sandra. It's a third world country. And I know a lot of them brag about their world-class health care, but I don't think you'll find a Mayo Clinic down there anywhere soon. Maybe you talk to somebody that knows. I apologize, I don't. But I would put health care at the very, very, very top of that list. And I know you can buy insurance policies where they'll fly you on a private jet to Houston and the DeBakey Clinic or whatever, but you know what? That may be too late. That may be too late. I don't know. It's just my own personal opinion. If you are living just on Social Security and you want to enjoy a nice lifestyle, I think you can probably get it in South America somewhere. But be prepared for culture shocks, different culture. Some would say much better. I'm not going to dispute that. Here's my advice, because you don't know about geopolitical risk and all. Why don't you try it before you buy it? Why don't you go down there and rent for a while and see how that works? And then if you love it and you've got all the answers to all the questions, go for it. You can always move back home. But please get the health care problem solved. Finally, we have Amy. I've been thinking of selling my loaded mutual funds and just buying an index fund. But then I heard you mention my mutual fund family has been beating the index, so now I don't know what to do. Yes, I mentioned the fund name the other day. I won't mention it again. But this particular mutual fund company, Amy, that you evidently have, is a low-cost mutual fund where there's high ownership. And there have been a few studies done now where if you're buying a low-cost, non-indexed, actively managed fund, and the manager themselves has skin in the game, meaning they've got their own money invested, those funds tend to outperform even the index, despite what you hear, despite what you read. I should also point out that while indexing has proved to be a very, very favorable strategy, at least the last 10, 15 years for sure, when you look at longer periods of time, it's about a 50-50 mix between, you know, the active managers and the and the index funds. So I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You've got a good fund company. The fees are low. I think they charge 70 basis points. It's about half the average for actively managed funds. And their money managers have got skin in the game. So they're incentivized to make you money because they make themselves money. I'd stay the course with what you got. Indexing is not the answer to everything. Some people think so. I don't. I'm out of time. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into the Ray Lucia Show. Now tell all your friends about it, and your pets too. Well, make it a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.
You're listening to The Ray Lucia Show, bringing you the best in money information, answering questions about your biggest financial challenges, talking about your money, your business, and your life. Ray Lucia is not a registered representative of or affiliated with any securities brokerage or investment advisory firm. The views and opinions expressed by Ray and his guests are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors and should not be construed as legal, tax, or investment advice. You should always consult with the appropriate advisors before making any financial decisions. Ray is available to take your questions online at...
You are watching Biz TV.
Time for your Biz Talk News headlines. I'm Kendall Baldwin. Crews in Northern California wine country are still trying fires burning throughout the region. The deadly fires burned at least 1,500 homes and structures Monday, forcing the evacuations of tens of thousands of people. Authorities have imposed a sunset to sunrise curfew in the city of Santa Rosa and Sonoma County because of potential looting. All eyes are on North Korea today as the nation celebrates its founding of its Communist Party. Officials have warned the North U.S. by launching yet another missile. On Monday, President Trump tweeted the U.S. policy on North Korea has been unsuccessful. And today, the president welcomes the Stanley Cup champions, the Pittsburgh Penguins, to the amid Mr. Trump's ongoing feud with the NFL players protesting the national anthem. Over the weekend, Vice President Pence left the Indianapolis Colts game after a dozen San Francisco 49ers players kneeled during the anthem. This is Biz Talk News.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. Time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-604-6476. That's 1-800-604-6476.
With markets and more from Biz Talk News, I'm Kendall Baldwin. U.S. stocks are rising, with major indexes advancing to new records in a broad advance as optimism appears to grow ahead of the start of the earnings season, which will provide concrete insight into the state of U.S. corporations. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rising 41 points to 22,802. The S&P 500 adding 5 points to 2,549. The NASDAQ Index rising 7 points to 6,587. All three benchmarks touching fresh intraday all-time peaks before pulling back from those session highs. The day's gains are broad, with all 11 of the primary S&P 500 sectors higher on the day. Energy is among the best gainers, up 0.9%, as were consumer staples, which rise by the same amount. This is Biz Talk News.
If you are age 85 or younger,
call 1-800-520-8940.
To learn about the benefits of having a senior life insurance plan. The average funeral costs between $7,000 and $10,000, but the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255, leaving your loved ones to pay your debt. A senior life insurance plan will pay up to $30,000 with immediate payout. There's no medical exam, and you'll have lifetime coverage. The rates for this type of plan will never increase, and your benefits will never decrease, and your plan cannot be canceled. Call now for free, no-obligation information. Also receive information about a free prescription discount card by calling now. Operators are standing by.
Call 1-800-520-8940. That's 1-800-520-8940.
This is Biz Talk Discovery, and I'm Carl Wolfenden. If you want to increase your team's effectiveness, you need one screen.
You know, as a reseller of video conferencing solutions, we realized most of the high-end video conferencing equipment and collaboration tools in the market were not being used by customers because they were too complicated to use. So what we have come up with is a product called OneScreen Hype, and it's one of the most simple products available in the market today. It's a simple browser-based solution, so there's no need to download anything on your computer. And while providing you a very simple interface, it still gives you all the different tools that you need in a productive meeting, including screen sharing, content sharing, file exchange, chat, ability to collaborate on a whiteboard, and record your meetings. It's a cloud-based subscription with monthly subscription, so there are no long-term commitments or contracts, and you get free unlimited training and support with it. So it is one of the easiest and the fastest way for you to enable your teams, especially if they're geographically dispersed, to work better together.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, and millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. That's why you need Credit Repair now. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-329-7790.
The biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. Welcome to Business Rockstars. I've got 2 rock stars for you today. We've got Betty Morin and Yin Go. They are the co-founders of Primitive Feast. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, if you could start by telling us, what is Primitive Feast?
Sure. So Primitive Feast is a line of healthy frozen entrees. We wanted to take sort of all the bad stuff out of frozen food. It is gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free. We have no added sugar, no preservatives. We use organic chicken, grass-fed beef, and really good quality, clean ingredients to give you a good, and lots of bold flavors.
Awesome. Yes. I'm definitely your market because I love good, healthy food, but I don't always love the preparation process. So I'm super intrigued. How did you come up with the idea, and how did you really make it a reality?
Well, Betty and I, along with our other business partner, we were in a CrossFit gym together. So there was a nutritional challenge that we took, and we started really reading labels on prepared foods because we were on this very strict sort of no sugar, no carb diet or low carb diet. And when we started reading the labels, we were just really shocked to see, you know, how many artificial ingredients are in prepared foods and how much sugar is in everything. And
what they'll actually have a label as being healthy, but then you look at the ingredients and all of that, and it's like not so much.
Yes. And to be frank, you know, most of it didn't taste very good. And so we spent a lot of time cooking for ourselves, and we would spend an entire weekend doing meal prep for the week. For us and our friends. And we thought, you know what, there is a gap here to be filled. And I've always loved to cook, and Betty as well. And so we thought, hey, maybe we should think about starting a business.
So you had this brilliant idea. You knew there was a market for it. How did you actually start it and make it a reality?
Well, we started doing little pop-ups with our family and friends, and we thought, okay, this is going well. People were reacting very favorably to the food.
And when you say little pop-ups, would you host little dinners, or what did that look like?
Yeah, we hosted dinners for
100 people?
Yeah, 100 people.
Yeah. So more than little dinners.
Yes.
Yeah, big dinners.
Yes.
Okay, so you would make your recipes en masse for about 100 people, test it out, see if they liked it at first?
Yep. And then we decided that we should go into a farmer's market. So we thought farmer's markets would give us an opportunity to get feedback from customers, would give us a chance to see if people really like the food, if they would buy the food.
Test the price points.
And then if they would come back and buy it again. And so we started in, actually Melrose Place was our first farmer's market in West Hollywood, just over 3 years ago. And then we moved into Brentwood and Pacific Palisades. And
today we're in grocery stores. If you could tell me a little bit about your work background and the industries that you each came from.
Well, I came from a finance background. I worked for many years in corporate treasury, managing cash and doing risk management, currency hedging, that sort of thing. And then I moved into more of an analysis role. So I worked for a consulting firm where I did some sell-side M&A work. So I have zero culinary experience or background.
You heard it from her. You don't need any culinary experience.
But when we started getting really serious about this company, I quit my day job, and I actually worked for about 6 months as a prep cook in a catering kitchen just to learn my way around.
Interesting.
So I spent 6 months washing lettuce, washing dishes.
And was that a good decision?
It was an excellent decision, I think.
What did you learn from that experience?
I think the biggest takeaway is that, you know, it sounds so glamorous and exciting to start a food company, but the truth is it's a lot of dishwashing
and cutting lettuce.
It really is. And,
there's very little glamour.
There's very little glamour behind it. But, you know,
that's why you have to love what you do. I mean, it sounds
Yes.
cliche. Every entrepreneur will say it, but there's a reason they're saying it, and that's because there's always the unglamorous side. In fact, most of it's unglamorous. So it's so important that you're passionate about what you're doing.
Yes, this is true.
And what about you? What's your background?
So I spent the last 12 years working for an entrepreneur who produced global music events. So I come from entertainment and production, and he also was an early stage investor. So I was fortunate to be able to learn a lot about startups and through him and through all of his investments. I managed all of his investments. And so it gave me just kind of an eye into what was going on in the startup world and got me familiar with it. And then I was able to sort of, it gave me the courage, I think, to take the leap and go into starting my own business. And I think it's really been useful. The entertainment world moves a little faster than the food world, so I've had to adjust my expectations a little, but but it's good. It's exciting, and I think it was good that we approached this without knowing the food world. I think it's helped us.
Given the industries you've come from and your work history, what has it allowed you to bring to the table at this company, and what's kind of the role that you're playing within it?
Well, I think it's given us probably the ability to look at the market differently, and you know, we really knew that we had to be innovative in the food space, and we've spent a lot of time building up our social media and really focusing on how we're going to grow the business, not just by going into grocery stores, which we're very focused on, but also how can we sell it online, how can we work with influencers and social media and really get the word out so that, you know, people find out about us and want to try us. And I think a lot of our customers are millennials, so I think that's the way to get to them. So.
Absolutely. Anything you wanted to add to that?
From my perspective, it's also bringing sort of the economic side of it, right? Because when you develop a recipe, you know, it's easy to develop a great tasting recipe if you have unlimited resources. But what do you do when you have a self-funded company, very limited financial resources, very limited human resources? You know, how do you develop, you know, a strategy and in turn your recipes to fit into this cost model? And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about that. You know, how do I make something taste really good, have quality ingredients, but still have that value proposition?
Big question a lot of entrepreneurs have. We're going to talk more about that when we come back. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. Now F-Logic.
Someone who has a passion, somebody who wants to get started, somebody who wants to be their own boss, somebody who has the passion to actually work hard and do a product or a service or something that they really enjoy. Well, number one, being married and having a family. And then after that, developing yourself and being an honest person, straightforward person. And something that you accomplish is building a business, something that you can build on your own and being successful at it. Work hard. Work hard, concentrate, pick a goal and manage that goal, work toward that goal. And no matter if it's a small goal or a big goal, you know, all these little goals add up. And it's important to accomplish what you start out. When you hit a wall, you have to take a breath. You look at all your options and you take the best option. You have to look at it straight in the face and work toward it. Never say never. Never give up. Never give up.
Hi.
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 Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi, my name's Josh.
Kelly.
My name is Raph. Steve.
My name is Anne.
Tom. Brian.
Crystal. And I am definitely not
A robot. I'm one of the real live attorneys you can talk to through LegalZoom.
Whether it's for your business
Or your personal life. Don't let unanswered legal questions hold you up.
because we're here.
We're here. We're here. And we've got your back.
LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
NASDAQ Private Market has a set of tools and solutions that really help private companies manage their equity from startup all the way through to an IPO.
There's a lot of companies who say, I want to be private longer. I want to fully develop my business model. NPM is fundamental to a private company be able to attract and retain the proper talent.
An entrepreneur will say, I finally have a choice and I can determine the timing instead of having external forces determine it for me.
If you're a small business owner, now there's a fast and secure way to qualify for a low-cost SBA loan right online. We're SmartBiz Loans, rated best place to apply online for an SBA loan. We'll help you pre-qualify for up to $350,000 of working capital, or even up to $5 million to buy your building.
We have a 10-year loan. Our repayment is only $1,600 a month.
Now with the SBA loan, we're only paying 6%, and I can afford that.
Apply now at smartbizloans.com. SBA loans made easy.
What if you could magically split your phone in half and have one for personal calls and one for business calls? And what if the business side of your phone came with a receptionist? 2 phone lines, 1 phone, magic. Add an extra phone line to your mobile just for business. Try eVoice free for 60 days. Go to evoice.com and enter promo code MAGIC.
We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. Welcome back to Business Rockstars, where I am continuing my conversation with the co-founders of Primitive Feast. So before we went to break, we talked about how you were starting with a small budget. So you had to work with that, but keep your values of making really good, healthy, tasty food. So if you could speak to that a little bit, you're self-funded up until now. How do you work with a small budget but really create a good product?
Well, I think we've really been very conscious about not growing too quickly. I think a lot of companies run into working capital issues because they're pursuing this very aggressive growth. For us, we're fortunate in that what we do is basically a cash business. So we do a small batch production, we go to the markets and we sell our product, and that's how we sort of replenish our
your business. Yeah,
Reinvest. And, you know, we've been able to do this without any external debt. We've been self-funding this for the past 3 years. And we are just now at the point of looking for some strategic investors.
And I know something that was new to you guys, but you've figured it out so far, and that is distribution and how that works and how there's a middleman between you and the grocery store, and you kind of went about it a roundabout way, but a really genius way that's allowed you to grow quickly. Can you tell us that story?
It was actually a cold call.
It was a cold call.
And, you know, it was calling and saying, hey, we have this product. We're in farmers markets. We want to go into retail. Will you try our food? And we sent samples, and they tried the food, and they liked it. It was something that they were looking for. So
amazing. So let's break it down even further. Like, when you say that you cold called, did you Google this? Like, where did you get, what contact, like, is it what position within the company? How do you get the phone number?
We actually would bring a bag of samples, get in our car, drive to a grocery store, and say to a cashier, could we please speak to the manager? And that's really the most effective way of doing it. I mean, I think that's really how we got our foot in the door.
And they would introduce it. They would say, oh, you have to talk to so-and-so at corporate, and
they would
give
call
you the number. And we would send them information and point them to our website, and
I love this
off we
story
would
so
go.
much, and I've heard similar versions of this story from other entrepreneurs, and I think the reason why it's so effective is it's so easy to just want to email or, you know, really take advantage of technology, but there's something to be said about old school, just showing up in person with your samples that a lot of times can get you where you want to go so much faster.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and we do the emailing thing, and we've just discovered that, you know, really going out and doing it ourselves
Something
is
like
much
that
more
personal
effective.
touch, and in your case, taste. You have to taste it.
And it's more, you know, taking action. We can sit at home and send out a ton of emails and just wait for someone to email us back, which we found out
doesn't work.
One, they don't often email you back. Two, they take forever to email you back. And so we find that it's just so much more effective to show up with product that people can physically see and touch and taste. So I think that, you know, that's how we've been able to get into a retail presence.
We had one retail chain who literally, we went into a grocery store with samples, talked to the manager, he gave us the corporate information, and we called the guy, and literally in about 72 hours, we had spoken to him, sent him our information, brought down samples. He'd tried the samples, and he had said, "We want you in our stores immediately." Which is
so
unheard
awesome.
of.
Yeah.
But he was looking for a product like ours, and
You have to have a good
it
market
worked out
fit,
well.
obviously.
Yes.
Good timing, good market fit.
One thing that you are considering and looking into is selling online. Can you tell me about that?
So many businesses, so many startups now are subscription-based, and subscription-based products are doing very well. It's something that we're really interested in and looking at. It's a challenge for us because we have a frozen product, so we have to deal with shipping frozen food, and obviously we need to get that right. So we have we've lined up some good connections, I think, and we are hoping to. Well, we're looking at launching a subscription model in probably the next few months.
Probably beginning of the year.
Amazing. Very cool. So as you've done some research, what have you learned that you have to keep in mind if you're taking on this business model?
I think shipping is always a big concern for us because the product is perishable. But, you know, right, Amazon Fresh, there are all these companies out there now that ship food all day long. And I think what's important for us is to find that leverage point. Who can we partner up with that's going to help drive down those costs for us and for them? And, you know, how, and also really logistically, you know, how do we keep the product fresh in transit? So I think those are the two things that we're really...
Ladies, thank you so much for stopping by and sharing your amazing story with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Alex.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. After this short break, more Business Rockstars.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers, high rate and high pay, never leave you alone.
Debt is really sucking the life out of them.
Yes, they look like that, warmed over.
He's picking up the phone, probably calling his uncle to borrow money.
Thank you for calling Consolidated Credit.
Oh, no, not Consolidated Credit.
With one call, they can lower their credit card rates.
And consolidate their bills into one low payment.
They'll pay off their debt in no time. Put down the phone.
Put down the phone. Order a pizza.
With extra red sauce. That Consolidated Credit makes it too quick and easy to get rid of us.
Thanks to Consolidated Credit, there can be life after that.
Call Consolidated Credit now and get your life back.
Because debt sucks.
Call 1-800-206-0697. 800-206-0697. That's 800-206-0697. Call now.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Many people with Medicare may be able to get extra benefits and don't even know they're available. You may be able to get dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage included in your plan. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline to see if you can get the extra benefits you deserve. The Medicare Coverage Helpline is now accepting calls. You may be able to get extra benefits, including dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage.
Hi,
I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald. Making sure you go to the doctor and taking all your medications as prescribed can help protect your health. To make it easier, you may now be able to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that includes coverage for dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Help protect your health by choosing the right plan for you and get all the benefits you deserve.
Call to see if you may be able to get extra benefits, including dental, vision, and prescription coverage. Don't miss the annual election period deadline for Medicare Advantage. Call now. Call 800-497-5903. That's 800-497-5903.
Introducing LifeRoom, where outdoor living meets future technology. LifeRoom's smooth glide screens keep harmful UV rays and bugs out, and its innovative cooling system gives you comfort and tranquility. Enjoy your LifeRoom year-round with a free radiant heater. Call today for your free design consultation and learn more about this patent-pending revolution in outdoor living that costs less than you'd imagine. Act now. Life awaits. LifeRoom, outdoor living perfected.
Welcome back to Business Rockstars. Now let's go to Mark Black.
Joining us right now is Ryan Byrne. He's the founder and CEO of the Buzz Lab. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So tell us about your company. What do you guys do?
So the Buzz Lab, we are a video production company who mainly focuses pretty much on helping large tech companies or tech companies in general basically humanize and tell their story in a more connected way.
Give me an example of a recent project you just worked on.
So for example, recently we did a sort of customer success story for one of our clients. Talking about sort of how they're going to take their technology and implement it into this new company. And so what we do is go in and work with that company to not just have them talk about, you know, oh, we love working with this company, XYZ, but more to get the real story behind them.
Okay.
So we tell that business story and help them, other people who might be considering, say, using their technology, relate to that client.
Nice.
And then adapt it. Yeah.
So how did you get into this business? What did you do before this? Were you in video production at another company that led you into this, or what?
Well, I've kind of a strange history when it comes to that, I guess.
Well,
that's how I got there. So I originally started out early on in finance. I worked in private equity, working at a pretty large subordinated debt fund.
Did you enjoy it, or was it boring?
I enjoyed it. I think I always had a knack for finance in school.
So interesting that you went from finance to video production.
Yeah. So I was doing that for a while, and then ended up starting a tech company of my own, sort of back in the end of the dot-com days, and sort of suffered through doing that for many years, and then decided to switch it all up and move into filmmaking. So then I went back and got a master's in filmmaking from USC Film School.
Nice.
And then sort of as I was doing that, I went and did a movie and did some other things like that. And as I started to do that, some of my old friends from back in the tech days and back in the finance days started to just knock on my door and say, hey, would you direct this little piece we need for our company? Okay. And so next thing I knew, sort of accidentally, I had a company.